Good evening and welcome to St. Louis Park High School Stadium. We've got the Orioles hosting the Park Center Pirates tonight for the homecoming/senior night. Got a couple big events coming for you before the game and at halftime. In just a few moments, we're going to have the senior night presentation where the seniors are honored. And then at halftime, the homecoming coronation. So we'll be here with you for both of those. Right now, we're looking at the coin toss on the field. Got some seniors lined up as captains for this one. And looking at Park Center, they're 4-2 on the season with wins against Kennedy, De La Salle, Cooper, and BSM. St. Louis Park, as a lot of you know, just 1-5, just getting their first win last week against Irondale. Get a little momentum going into this tough opponent. We're standing by here waiting for the start of the senior night presentation. A lot of confusion up here and on the field as to when that is happening exactly, but should be happening shortly after the coin toss. Right now, refs just talking to the players down on the field. I'm Ethan Lee. You're watching ParkTV 16, our last home game of the year here at St. Louis Park High School. And it should be a good one. Sun's just going down. It's about 6:41. Got a few minutes before the kickoff. And just waiting on that senior night presentation. Then we'll go to break and come back to you live with this one as we see the Park Center Pirates down here heading over to their bench. All warmed up, very loud in their warm-ups, trying to use an intimidation tactic, a lot of yelling, a lot of counting out. It's an old one, but it still works, and they look like they're ready to play. Orioles have been here for over an hour warming up. Park Center got here about 25 minutes ago. Park Center will be wearing those gold helmets tonight, white jerseys on, white pants. And the Orioles going all black. The coin has just been flipped and we're waiting for the decisions here. And then we'll start with the senior night activities. The band also just arrived for this one. Be hearing a lot from them tonight. And on the far side of the field, we see the Park Center cheerleaders with those pink pom-poms. And as a lot of you know, a lot of you who watch football, particularly the NFL, it is October now, which means it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we see the pink there. We'll see players for Park Center with a few pink items, maybe some wristbands, a towel or something, and maybe a few St. Louis Park players as well. It's obviously the player's choice, but it's usually a big team thing that they do, and it looks like I'm looking down on the field, and we've got the St. Louis Park players with those pink shoelaces. If you're wondering why, that's why. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a great cause that has really taken a lot of popularity in the football world the last few years especially. And it looks like now we might finally head over to the end zone on the right of your screen where we will have the senior night. And I will be quiet so you can listen in on that. And we see senior Trent Stafford now heading out on the field with his family. Stafford not going to be on the field tonight, but a star for this team throughout his career. It's too bad he can't be playing tonight on his senior night, but good to be honored. Jerry Samaya now coming out, the star defensive back, the senior for this St. Louis Park Orioles team. Jeff Rounds coming out next, star offensive tackle for this team. Been holding the line for a few years now. It'll be a key loss for them next year as they try to recover from that. A lot of star seniors, and another one of them is Hunter Pettit on the defensive side. He's a D tackle. Pettit last year had 15 tackles for the Orioles. If you're just joining us, we're about 12 and a half minutes to kickoff here at St. Louis Park High School. It's homecoming and senior night. We're having the senior night presentation right now as we see they've all reached the field. And all out there with their parents. So that concludes our little senior night presentation as we got to see our seniors. Some of you watching from out of town to see your family members and friends play. So we're glad we got to bring that for you. We also got the homecoming coronation at halftime. And we're, like I said, just about 12 minutes away from kickoff. So we're going to go to a short break here at St. Louis Park, and we'll be back for the kickoff. I'm Ethan Lee on ParkTV 16. We've got the Orioles hosting the Pirates coming up in just a few minutes.
Introducing a new day of the week, someday. Now, everything you were going to do someday is on the calendar. Want to retire someday? You'll really want this. A My Social Security account at socialsecurity.gov. You can estimate your future benefits and manage current benefits online. Millions of people have a My Social Security account. Get yours today, because someday is here at socialsecurity.gov.
Welcome back to St. Louis Park High School Stadium. We are done with the coin toss. We have completed the national anthem and the starting lineup, so we're going to jump right into this one. If you're just joining us, Park Center Pirates are visiting the St. Louis Park Orioles, and here tonight it's homecoming and senior night for the Orioles. They will be kicking off to start the game. Delius Palmer will be kicking off for the Orioles, and back to return the stud, Amani Hooker, the senior for this Pirates team. We got a lot of big stats for him in this one. Also, Tyshawn and Brooks back there, number 1 on the other side. So Hooker and Brooks back to return here on the kick, and it's a short one, and it's recovered by the Orioles to start the game. An onside swing type kick. I don't even know what that was. It wasn't really much of either, but St. Louis Park recovers it early. Huge play, and that's Bangura. Just a freshman for this team. Wow, huge start for them. They'll get the ball to start the second half as well, and that's the momentum they've needed, as this team has allowed an average of 35 points in the first half of each game this season. So that's going to be big for them to get this one going and try to get the momentum early. So we'll be going with their offensive starters to start this one. We were ready to talk about the defense. But out there in the backfield, Brown, and behind center, once again, the junior Logan Romero, who's been a stud despite the struggles of this team this season, and a handoff to Brown early. And he gets almost all the way to the first down. Looks like he'll be about half a yard short, but a big first play for them as they're inside the 30. We are officially underway in this game. I'm Ethan Lee. This is Park 16 TV. Thanks for joining us. Another handoff to Brown up the middle. He'll get some contact, but he'll keep going. And after breaking a few tackles, gets another 11 or 12 yards, and that's clearly a first down on that one. And now they are just outside the 15-yard line, so they're in the red zone here. A quick, good start for this Orioles team that has struggled in the first half throughout this season. 1-5 got their first win last game against Irondale. Romero, Brown again, gets a couple. Keep going back to the same play, it keeps working. The two juniors running the backfield today. Romero and Brown. This is Romero's second season behind center. Last season was a stud. 11 passing touchdowns and 13 rushing touchdowns as we see him take it up the middle there. He was the second highest rushing touchdown player on this team. Stafford, who is not in this game as a senior. This is his senior night, but he is concussed, and that's a huge loss for this team. It's his third game out, I believe. So Romero is going to be running a lot, and Brown, like we've seen so far, is going to be taking up the middle. And we see motion here, handed off out to the left side, and through for a couple is Kai McKee, the sophomore on this St. Louis Park team. So the running game tearing it up early as they've gotten a couple of first downs. And now St. Louis Park will snap the ball from about the 5-yard line. It is first and goal. Just a couple minutes into this one. Already looking dangerous, looking like they could get the first one of the game. We've got 3 receivers out to the right side. Romero behind the center and Brown to his right, one receiver to the left. It's another handoff up the middle. Brown goes in and scores. So all running game early for St. Louis Park as we've had a handful of runs up the middle, and that's the whole offensive strategy so far. They got a good 40 yards on this drive after the onside kick, and we see here, handed off to Brown, a quick cutback, and good jump by the line there to really keep the defensive tackles off of the line, and just Brown easily getting through. Now kicking the extra point, and it's good. So the Orioles take a 7-0 lead in this game. Huge start for them, one of their best of the season. And Rudelius Palmer just put in the extra point. Brown on the touchdown. Brown last season, not a huge impact for this team. Stafford took the bulk last year. Rest had Smith and Lawson, but last season, just 10 rushing attempts and 80 yards. So this has been his first big season, and definitely making an impact here as we are going to see the second Orioles kickoff. Park Center hoping they can actually recover this one, and we see the return men, Hooker and Brooks, moving up a little from their spot on the last kickoff. And it will go to Hooker. He's their stud. We'll see if he can do anything. And he is tied up early. That is a huge defensive play there. St. Louis Park, Bangura, he's the one who recovered the first one, and he got a big stop there against the star for this Pirates team, who we're going to see in the backfield today. He is quarterbacking this team, and that is Amani Hooker. Looking at Hooker's stats on the season, 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Thrown downfield and caught, a big play there. They'll get from the 28 to about the 49. A 21-yard gain there, and we see on the replay, Hooker there sees the receiver open immediately, and he is taken down, but another good start on this side for him, and that was Kyle Snowbrick, the senior. And another quick pass. That one is to number 11. It'll be a gain of about 5 on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 5. We're just a few minutes into this one. 7-0 St. Louis Park early. Recovered an onside kick. And a pass. That was from Hooker to Brooks. 2 of the fastest guys on this team there, but couldn't connect as the pass was just a little high. So we're going to have a 3rd and 5 here. Ball on the 46 going in for the Pirates. As we said, it's homecoming night, as a lot of you know. Got all the students out here, big band. The parade went by the stadium earlier. Hooker to Brooks on this one. We'll see if he can get there. He does, and he's still going down to the 30, the 20, and he's going to take it all the way to the house for a touchdown on that. What looked like a screen pass from the 46-yard line. And we'll see that replay there. Just a quick look. He knew where he was going. He rolled out Hooker and found Brooks. Brooks just had to break that initial tackle attempt by St. Louis Park. That was Rudelius Palmer going for it. Just couldn't get there as Brooks put out the stiff arm, and from there it was smooth sailing. He's one of the quickest guys on this team, as we mentioned. And now the extra point to tie it up for the Pirates. And it's good. 7-7, and Park Center will be kicking off in just a moment. And we'll see the replay one more time here. Perfect execution. That's that speed right there you see by Tyshawn, and Brooks just couldn't, no one could get to him on the sideline there. He just blew right by everybody, got in there, and that's going to be one of the advantages we're going to see for this Pirates team tonight is their speed, with Hooker and Brooks especially. And Amani Hooker, the senior for this Pirates team, he is a star in all aspects of this game. On defense this season, he has 6 interceptions, and he returned 3 of them for touchdowns. Another thing to watch for tonight, as we see a quarterback in Romero who doesn't particularly throw a ton of interceptions. I believe he only has 2 multi-interception games this year. Last season, he threw 11 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Hooker, a star on offense and defense. He also has 3 receiving touchdowns. Earlier in the season, when Carl Altenberg was quarterbacking. Altenberg, 5 touchdowns, 5 picks, and 2 fumbles. And then Hooker took over. Kickoff here, Shang Li. A good one that is going to go into the back of the end zone after hitting the ground at about the 5. Great kick by number 54, Shang Li. And the Orioles will take the ball once again. We'll see what they do here to respond to that quick touchdown by the Pirates after getting the momentum early on that kick recovery. That's got to be deflating. But the run game looking good so far. But now we see Brown out to the right side, the lower part of your screen. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Screen play there. Romero, a good look, but they can't get anywhere with it as Ty Benny, the junior, caught that one, and Park Center was all over him. No hesitation on that one. Got a couple good blocks initially, but just a swarm of Park Center players in there reading the screen as Romero just popped over and looked to the right side right away. That's how you're supposed to do it, but good heads-up defense by the Pirates. And now we're going to see a handoff the middle, and taken down right away is Brown. So that's going to be 3rd and 8 for the Orioles. 3rd and 5, excuse me. So a little more manageable. But they're going to have 2 to the right, 2 to the left in the gun, and Brown to the left with Romero. Romero fakes the handoff, and now he's scrambling, and he might get there, and he does. He slides down about 2-3 yards past the first down marker at about the 33-yard line. So first down for the Orioles. If you're just joining us, tie ball game, 7-7. The Orioles were kicking off first, but recovered it on a short 30-yard lob, and then they got the momentum. Ron Brown basically took it the rest of the way down the field, about 40 yards for the touchdown. And then immediately answering was Tyshawn Brooks for the Pirates on a big screen play where he took it 46 yards to the house. So exciting game so far here. We got 2nd and 10 on about the 33-yard line. Romero back there. Fakes to Brown, and now he goes to the left side scrambling, but he can't go anywhere. He's swallowed up. He gets about a yard on that one. And we're going to see a lot of that tonight. Romero, he's a dual threat quarterback. Unfortunately, this season he's seen a lot of pressure and has had to scramble more than he probably would like to. But with a reliable run game with Stafford early and now Brown, both of them throughout the season, it certainly helped. But on this drive, Park Center looking good. Now they force a 3rd and 7. So what they do here is there are 3 receivers out to the right. Romero's going to scramble again. Throws as he's taken down. And it's going to be complete to Brown about half a yard in front of the first down marker, it looks like. So that's going to be 4th and less than a yard. And they're going to go for it here in their own territory. 3 receivers to the right again, and it looks like they got the Pirates to jump. That'll be a free first down. You cannot make that mistake at the varsity level. And, you know, it's one that people even make in the NFL these days. But, you know, that front line gets excited on those, and they just do it on 2, or some coaches will just say, don't snap the ball, whatever, and then if the Pirates don't bite, then they'll call a timeout and kick it away. But it was fairly obvious they were going to do that there. I'm surprised that a team as good as Park Center made that mistake. But new life to this Orioles team. And now a run for about 6-7 yards by Brown. He's 2nd and 4. One receiver to the right, 3 to the left. Out midfield. Romero out to the right side. He sees number 5. That is Michael Howard. And he is still running east-west rather than north-south. He gets about 2 yards. So after all that, a little bit of a gain, and that's going to be important now as it's going to be 3rd and short, about 3rd and 3. Got a good quick look out there. A lot of quick screen plays we've seen early. One for a touchdown for the Pirates. A couple for the Orioles. Haven't really gotten too many yards on it. But now we're going to see Ron Brown, the running back, out to the right side in the slot. So empty backfield. And it's going to be a QB drop the middle. And it looks like they're going to give him the first down. It's about right on the line, and they're going to signal it. So another close call for the Orioles, but they do get the first down. And some new life for them as they're on the 43 going in. Brown back in the backfield now. See if they start going up the middle with him again. Pirates haven't seemed to have too much of an answer for that. And it's going to be a play action pass, and it's thrown almost right directly to Tamel Quinn, the linebacker. It's a good play by Quinn on the coverage there. Austin Nelson looked like he was the intended receiver, but Quinn, I think it went off his hands or his body somewhere. It could have been an interception just as easily as an incompletion. Lucky break for the Orioles now as we have about 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 10, 7-7. And a pass out to Brown. Brown on the left side gets about 9. We're going to have a 3rd and short coming up, depending on the spot. Yes, it will be 3rd and actually about 1.5 to 2 yards. Looked like he was a little closer, but that was the spot. So 3rd and short. Coming up, we'll see what the Orioles have. Brown to the right of Romero. And the motion around the backside, it is handed off to Brown. Brown gets about 3, and they'll convert another 1st down. So the Orioles have kind of settled in here, gotten their game going, and haven't really made any mistakes on the offensive side yet. One pass almost picked a couple minutes ago, but they kept the ball. And looking pretty sharp as we see 3 out to the right. Romero's looking that way, and it looks like he just about hit Austin Nelson, but it went off of him. Maybe we'll see the replay on that here. Yep, play action. And then that's Romero to Nelson. Nelson had some space, but just looks like off of his hands, and then coming in and hitting him there, the Pirates. But that could have been a big catch there. That would have been a 1st down. But he got laid out at the end of that play, right after it went off his hands. Not a late hit, but definitely hurt a little bit. But that's football, and now Brown gets the ball, and he'll go negative about 3. Just a good jump there by pretty much the whole defensive line for the Pirates. Got through there right away. Brown didn't have a chance on that one. Just went right through. It's like a screenplay blocking almost, like blocked for half a second. I don't even know if they did that, but that is not like this team, at least how we've seen so far. And now some pressure on Romero, but he scrambles out of it, and he'll make it a positive play and gain about 5.5 to 6 yards. And that's what we've been talking about all season with this quarterback, Logan Romero. He can pass and he can sure run. He can make, I don't want to make crazy comparisons here, but when you watch Aaron Rodgers play the game, he is one of those guys who, he's not a runner necessarily, but he can make something out of a pressured play by scrambling through the line and to the outside, and that's something we're going to see with Romero here, as he looks like he's going under center for a second and communicating over to the sideline now. See something in the defense, and they're changing it up, and now it looks like they're just going to call a timeout, the Orioles. So drive going well so far, but it is 4th and 5, so it's kind of an important communication time here. And we see that replay again. Romero there, pressure immediately as the Pirates D just gets in there, and there were 2 or 3 guys who could have gotten to him pretty quick, but Romero takes it up the middle where he sees space and gets 5 or 6 yards from it. It won't be the only time we'll see that in this game, but players to watch on the defensive side for Park Center. Tyshawn Brooks, who scored the touchdown earlier for them, is a tough defensive player as well. He has 19 tackles this season, and he has 1 fumble recovery, 1 interception, and a defensive touchdown. And now a long field goal attempt, and it's going to be a fake for the Orioles. Guess not too surprising there. And a pass out to Brown on the right side. This one's going to be close. Does he get there? He is pushed back, but it looks like he might be about half a yard short, depending on the spot. That was a very close play. And we're going to see here on the spot, they might have to bring the chains out on this one. You need to get to the 23 for the first. And you see on the replay there, he gets that push. See that strength for Ron Brown there, going through two defensive players who are clearly much bigger than him and would have more leverage, but the way he gets his shoulder down and just pushes through, that's going to be the difference right here. If they can get the first down on this, they're going to measure. Chains coming out, we'll see here. Players crowding around, but good camera work, and it looks like the defense is going to come out for St. Louis Park, so couldn't quite get it there. But a good play drawn up there on the screen. That's the right idea, as they initially had the fake field goal, St. Louis Park, so Park Center sent a couple guys way back, maybe to return it, and then went for it on the screen. Brown got 5 yards, just didn't get that extra few inches that he needed. That was a close one, but good push by Brown. But good defensive stop. The Pirates really needed that. They, by now in most games, have had a little more jump on the teams they've been playing than just 7-7. About to finish up the first quarter here, under 2 minutes left. And that's something that we've talked about a little bit, and we'll be talking about all of the first half. 35 points allowed is the average for St. Louis Park in the first half. 7 so far in the first quarter, not bad, especially considering the tough opponent that they're playing. As we see a handoff up the middle here, going for 6 yards. It's going to be Malcolm Richards, the junior running back. Fake handoff out to the left side is Hooker, and he's going to take it to the 40, the 30. A couple big jukes, missed tackles, and he's going to take it all the way. Incredible run as it starts off. We're going to see this replay in just a moment. The fake handoff there, and he rolls out to the left side. I think only a few defensive players really noticed that. The only reason I could tell so easily was because he kind of tucked the ball and hit it to our side of the camera there. And yeah, a few guys saw him, but one missed tackle there, Hooker, and a good juke play. Another one, yeah, he just broke that tackle. So he faked a couple guys out, and then there were a couple of guys that got a hand on him. But I think the biggest part of that was the fake out of Bangura to get down there. So Hooker and Brooks, the two stars of this team, have scored the 2 touchdowns early that we've talked about. And look again there. He doesn't even put the ball out for the fake handoff, just puts his hand out. It was enough, though, to get about half the defense faked out, and then he broke a tackle there. Took it all the way to the right side. No one on that side of the field. A couple good blocks for the Pirates and making it look easy. Monty Hooker. And Hooker now, whose touchdown total at the quarterback position is 10 on the season. And playing partial season, he also has 3 receiving touchdowns and 3 touchdowns on defense, 3 pick sixes. Now Shang Li, big guy with a big leg, going to be kicking this one off. Last time it went back for a touchback, and the Orioles return men back a little further than the last time. Lee's kick a little shorter. It would have landed about the 10, but it's picked up, and returning it is Bangura, and he's taken down at about the 26-yard line. And the Orioles, with about 57 seconds left in this first quarter, will be taking the ball from the 27. Tough field position here, and that was a big drive, last drive there, as they looked like they were getting downfield pretty easily, but ended up turning it over. There were a couple times where the Pirates almost got the ball back. Once on 4th and inches, Park Center jumped off sides, gave them the first down, and then again, a big run by Brown, but he got the push, but was just about a few inches short of the first down, which gave the Pirates the ball back. And they got all the way down the field pretty quick here as Romero looking way downfield, and it is almost an interception for Brooks. And Brooks is looking for the flag for offensive pass interference. Obviously not going to get it, as that looked pretty fair, but Michael Howard was the one going up for that. As you see here on the replay, good placement, but just a little bit short. And Brooks, who is a big player for this defense, he already has an interception this season, and that was almost his second. Couldn't quite come down with it. But now it'll be 3rd and 9. Romero back, throwing it to the left side, but Austin Nelson, the junior, just didn't look in time. The pass did look a little farther than he could have caught it, but didn't turn his head, didn't see it, didn't know it was there until after it hit the ground. 4th and 9 now. Should be back to punt it away here. Romero sending it downfield. That's Brooks coming up with it. We'll see if he can do anything. He's a playmaker, but no, he's just getting taken backwards. And another good showing of coverage. First time he was on the kick, this time the punt for the Orioles. And that'll just about do it. We got 3.8 seconds left for the first quarter. So this should be the last play here. 14-7, Park Center in this St. Louis Park homecoming game. Middle hooker, he'll run out of bounds after it got a gain of 2. So we're gonna go on a short break here for the quarter, end of the first quarter, 14-7 Park Center. And a good start for the Orioles as they recover the onside kick, but haven't done much since the first touchdown by Brown. We're gonna go to break, Park 16 TV. We'll be back in just a minute for the second quarter. See you soon.
I'm 5'11", barely 5'4".
I weigh about 170 pounds.
Brown eyes.
Blue eyes.
Brown hair.
Gray hair.
I'm a baseball fanatic.
I'm a wife.
A mom. A sister.
And a grandfather.
I'm a bodybuilder.
I'm a research analyst.
Small business owner.
Teacher.
Dance fitness instructor.
Film and television actor.
I'm an office clerk.
I'm a copywriter.
I'm a veteran.
I have a prosthetic leg.
I have multiple sclerosis.
I have lupus.
Cerebral palsy.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
I'm blind.
And I'm working in a job I love.
I love.
Because I was given a chance.
Because I was given a chance.
To contribute my skills and talents.
To show my disability is only one part of who I am.
Who I am.
Who I am.
At work, it's what people can do that matters.
For more information, visit whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
back here for the start of the second quarter here on Park 16. We've got the Pirates here visiting the Orioles on the St. Louis Park homecoming night, and a big run here for Park Center. Again, taking the ball is going to be Malcolm Richards, the junior, for a big gain and a first down, and now they're on their side of the field. If you're just joining us here for the second quarter, 14-7 Park Center. St. Louis Park jumped out ahead early, recovering a onside kind of squib type kick, lobbed up in the air, and another big run there, getting possibly another first down depending on the spot. Looks like he'll just about get 10 yards there. But so the recovery was made by Bangura, and then Ron Brown basically took it the rest of the way, running up the middle, right through the defensive line of Park Center for the touchdown. Since then, though, it's been all the Pirates. He got a big stop on fourth down and scored a touchdown to make it 14-7 after the first one. Screen to Tyshawn and Brooks. Another run, this time to the outside. That'll get the first down after a 4-yard gain. But anyway, Brooks getting the screen, catching the pass from Hooker, took it 46 yards down the field, just speeding by everybody for the touchdown. And then on the next drive, from about the same spot on the field, was Hooker taking it himself from the quarterback position after a fake handoff, ran to the left side, broke a tackle and faked out a few guys, as we see a quick pass down the field, and it is caught inside the 10-yard line for the Pirates. Quickly here in the second quarter. And a good diving catch there. I don't know if he quite got it. It might have hit the ground, but can't review it here. And that was Kyle Snowbrick, who had a big catch earlier. We'll see there, he gets under it. I don't know, I can't quite tell for sure, but it definitely would look like a catch from the ref's point of view, in front or on the side of him. So not much you can do about that in high school sports. Not gonna have that replay convenience that you'll have in college and pro. But it will be second and goal at about the 4-yard line. See what the Pirates do here. Snowbrick going to the bench, as well as Brooks. So it looks like they're going with a heavier package here, and it's probably going to be something up the middle, as we see number 25, Malcolm Richards, in the backfield. And yes, they're going to send two big men in front of him, and he's going to try, and it's stripped away by St. Louis Park, and they're going the other way with it. Incredible play at the goal line for the Orioles. That is Jamin Smith just ripping it away from Richards at the 1-yard line. We'll see that again. Smith there. Bangura and Smith together were going to take him down for the tackle, and that is a very smart play as they got him the momentum stopped for Smith to just take it and run with it, and he got about 35, 36 yards on that run after the strip there. Huge play. That can make all the difference in this first half, as now St. Louis Park, although they're down, definitely have the momentum as the underdog in this game to only be down by a touchdown here. After a huge play, and now Brown up the middle is going to take it for 6 or 7 yards, fumbles it, but it is recovered by the Orioles. Austin Nelson on the recovery. That'll end up only being a gain of about 2 after it looked like it could have been 4 or 5, as we see the replay here. Brown, a big hole up the middle for Brown. Good job by the middle O-line, the guards and centers there, but then he's brought back a little bit, fumbles, and it is picked up by Nelson. So result is just a 2-yard gain, but crisis averted there as Nelson, with a heads-up play, getting on that fumble. 9.5 minutes to go in the half. Hand off to Brown again. He'll get about a yard, maybe. That'll be 3rd down now and about 6 yards to go. See what they do here on 3rd and 6. See if they go with an empty backfield. They won't. Brown will be back there. We'll actually have 2 backs. One to each side of Romero. And now motion out. It's a fake handoff and a screen out to the number 2 receiver for St. Louis Park. That is Jamin Smith, who just got that big strip in return. You see here the fake to Brown out to Smith, but immediately getting over there, number 3, that is Hooker. Big star on offense and defense. And now it'll be 4th down. Romero back there. And that's a good thing for this team. Logan Romero taking the punts. They can easily pull a Ben Roethlisberger here, either punt it or pass. Looks like here they're going to punt it. But that's a good option for them to have, as Romero has a decent leg, sending it out there to the 24-yard line. Pretty good punt there. May see a fake later in the game, and we'll see that big play here again by Smith, as him and Bangora wrap up the running back at about the 1-yard line, right as Park Center was sure they were going to score, and then Smith just takes it way downfield. So regardless of the fact that they just turned the ball over, had to punt it, that field position, that run by Smith is huge for the field position now, because after that and the punt, Park Center is now back in their own territory at the 25 to start this drive. And not to mention, that was a touchdown stopping play, as we see a big pass here. Hooker to Brooks, and Brooks is still going after a broken tackle. He's going to take it all the way, and that's a touchdown for the Pirates on the first play of the drive after the punt. So the field position didn't end up mattering as much. It's just going to boost Brooks and Hooker's stats. So that is a 75-yard touchdown pass for the Pirates, just when you thought the Orioles were grabbing the momentum and getting back into this one. It'll be 20-7 now. And Brooks just had the whole field in front of him there. And now we're going to see the big leg again, Shang Lee. This is just a chip shot for him. A lot of high school kickers, extra points are iffy, but him usually just right down the middle, and that is no exception on that kick. Shang Lee, his 3rd extra point, making it 21-0. A couple big kickoffs for him as well. That's bigger than you think in high school, to have that strong leg at kicker. And we see on the replay here, Hooker to Brooks, and Hooker was close to the line of scrimmage on that scramble, but not called. Can't go back now, and the touchdown will stand. So 21-7. Orioles still here. 8 minutes to go. If they run like they did on the first drive, they could take some time off this clock, but still get downfield and score, maybe setting it up for a 21-14 halftime, and with them receiving in the second half. That's wishful thinking, but it's been a tale of 2 teams, 2 offenses for this Oriole team. First drive, they only had to go about 40 yards, but making it look pretty easy was Brown, just taking up the middle. Since then, though, haven't been able to get too much going. And Shang Lee, the big leg, coming up for the kickoff here. Back to return, Smith and Bangora. Just under 8 minutes to go. Kicking off the Pirates to the Orioles. Just getting here, we just missed a touchdown by Park Center. It was about a 75-yard pass from the star quarterback Hooker to Brooks. Hooker now has 11 touchdowns at quarterback on the season, rushing and passing combined. Has a few at receiver as well. And a squib kind of punch kick will get down to the 20 and taken almost down, but breaking the tackle is 21. That's Rudelis Palmer, who's a decent returner for this team, picking it up there off the ground on a squib, and he broke what looked like a sure tackle. I mean, I thought he was going down, and gets an extra 12, 15 yards. But yeah, as we saw there, I think it was 21 Ben Stewart going for the tackle, just went with his body, not so much wrapping up, but just going into him there. So a good play to stay up there for Rudeus Palmer, and got an extra 12 to 15 yards because of it. And now on the flag, moving it up even more for the Orioles, and they'll be starting going in from the 45-yard line in the Pirates' territory. Dangerous position, even though the Pirates have done well containing the run since the first drive. If they can get Brown going here, it takes them just a few plays to get downfield. Romero rolling out, and he will hit Brown. Brown will break the first tackle, spin around the second guy, then is taken down, but not after a good gain of 5, and that's 5 or 6 yards after the catch. See here, Park running motion a lot, and we see Brown going up the middle and then turning outside. The initial contact there by number 32 of the defense for Park Center, but then he just kept going, got about 5 yards before they ended up getting tackled from behind. And a little fake there for Romero, the outside, and he is tackled from the neck, helmet area. Some fans there thinking that might be a dirty play, but Romero there looked like he was going to pitch it out for a second, maybe bought himself another yard or two. This will be 3rd and about 3, though. Got 2 out to the left and 2 to the right, and Brown to the right of Romero. Romero's going to take it up the middle after looking like he was going to hand it off, and catching the Pirates defense off guard is Logan Romero, getting about 10 yards on the play and the first down. 6.5 minutes to go in the first half, and we see Romero there. Really good job faking on the handoff. He took his body with him too, turned himself around, really committed to that fake handoff, but then got the quick jump up through the middle, and with no one really 5 yards in front of him, and then made the play extended a little longer, about 5 more yards, 10-yard gain. That's that dual threat quarterback Logan Romero here as he hands off to Brown, but it's fumbled. Brown gets on it just in time, but Ben Stewart looked like he could have had a chance on it. Ben Stewart's the guy who missed the tackle earlier on the kick. Could have redeemed himself there with, not that the missed tackle ended up being a huge deal. Got Park about 20 more yards, St. Louis Park, but Stewart there almost recovering the fumble, but good job by Brown to get right on it as it looked like just a miscue on the handoff. And now Romero is going to keep it, but he's taken down almost immediately, cannot get back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a few inches short of it. Regardless, it'll be 3rd and long, 3rd and about 14 here. 5:20 to go in the first half, 21-7 Pirates. This would be a huge conversion if they can get this long 3rd down, St. Louis Park. To the right, to the left, Brown to the left of Romero. Romero's going to take it again, shovels it out, tries to get to Brown, but can't. And Pirates taking that back as if it were a fumble. That was Hooker. Good heads-up play just to do that, go into the recovery motion, but the whistle was blown. It is an incomplete pass. See Romero there having to avoid the pressure almost immediately as the pocket collapsed on him before it really even developed. And that's going to be a timeout now on 4th and 14. So the Orioles still not been able to get too much going since their first drive. They looked really good early, but they're hanging in this one. They're well under their average of 35 points allowed in the first half throughout the season. That's a good sign for them, especially against one of their tougher opponents. They have had a tough schedule. So has Park Center, though. And we look at their wins. Beat Kennedy 21-9. They went to De La Salle, won 35-7. Cooper, a team who can blow out a lot of teams, they won 21-16 against them. And then blowing out Benilde St. Margaret's, who beat this St. Louis Park team. Park Center beat them 41-0. So really looking at those games, just comparing the wins and losses for both teams, the Orioles doing a lot better than they should be doing. They are a better team than their record shows, though. Faced a few injuries this season, Stafford being a huge one. But not looking too bad so far this game, but like I said, haven't done much on offense since the first drive. And since they're in close in their territory, they are going to go for it. Normally a punting situation on 4th and 14, but they're inside the 40-yard line. Romero seeing pressure immediately, but he might have a chance. He looks way downfield, and it is picked off. And still taking it back down the field there. As you'll see on the replay here, Romero scrambling around. We got to see who picked that off. Hard to tell on the far side of the field there. But Romero looked like he found his receiver, and he was just going for it all. Didn't really have much of a choice. Just had to go with that one. And I believe that was the defensive back, Peyton Wenzel, number 12, the senior. That was Peyton Wenzel on the interception. Apologize for not seeing that right away. I was thought that ball was going a little further down to the receiver, but good play by Peyton Wenzel, and returned it to the point where knocking it down would have been just as effective. But interception for him on the stats now, and Romero's not going to kick himself too much on that one. It was 4th down. Bombing it downfield was as good as a punt there in that situation. But it would have been nice for them to score here, as we're just approaching the 4-minute mark. And the Pirates will try to get a 21-point lead, 3-score lead before halftime. But a lot of pressure on Hooker now. He looks downfield, and it's just going to hit the ground, so avoids the sack. But could have been a lot worse for Hooker there. Can't get the first down, however. It will be 3rd and about 4. So the Orioles here have a chance to actually get the ball back after that with a quick 3-and-out on defense here if they can get the stop on 3rd down. But they got to be watching Tyshawn Brooks. He is wide right here. And Jemon Smith is on him. And Brooks goes downfield, doesn't get it. It will be number 25, the back, Malcolm Richards. And he is going to break all the way through. Another touchdown for the Pirates. Richards with those yards after catch and after contact. I don't know. I mean, he got the ball there about, we'll see on the replay here, I don't know how many yards. Yeah, it was about 4 yards short of the first down. And he just got going. I don't know if he was even touched. There were about 5 or 6 guys in front of him wearing black jerseys. None of them really got to him. They got a couple good blocks. Andy's quick, another example of quickness on this team. And wow, a huge play on 3rd and 4. That could have gone much better for the Orioles. And now Shang Li trying to go 4 for 4 on the extra points, and does. So 28-7. Park Center quickly running up the score here. Obviously still a lot of time and a lot of plays for the Orioles, but this is the kind of thing that they were hoping to avoid tonight on homecoming night against a team that has put up a lot of points this season. 41 against Benilde, 35 against De La Salle. And at De La Salle, that's always a tough place to play. Beautiful stadium there in downtown Minneapolis. Fortunately for St. Louis Park, their second halves have been much better. They only allowed 9 points on average in the second half. Part of that coming from the fact that there have been a few blowout games, but definitely we've seen them get better as they've gotten more used to playing against these teams. So I think a score here, possibly a touchdown for them. They've got 4 minutes to do it, would really help them, only being down 2 possessions going into the second half. We'll see, though, as they're going to have a long way to go, as Shang Li is going to boot it again. His last kick wasn't as far downfield, but his first couple were good ones. One was a touchback, one was caught at the 10-yard line. This one will be received just in front of the 10-yard line. And that's Jimin Smith. He'll get out to the 19 before he's taken down. And there's a flag down on the field. 31, Rudy Peel was the one on the tackle here. We'll see what the flag is. Might be a face mask. Ref's conferring for a minute. And it is going to be a face mask on the Pirates. We'll see that on this play here. That it's Rudy Peel. Good job going into the tackle. But yeah, it looks like he just got the side of the face mask as he was wrapping him up. Awkward position. I don't think that was intentional, but it's where he could grab on as he was also being pushed over by Smith. Smith got a good stiff arm on him, maybe forcing him to grab the face mask on that one. Always something to consider, but that will be a few extra yards for the Orioles as they start this drive. Just under 4 minutes to go, 28-7 Pirates. And they'll get the Pirates to jump. So another good play by them. That's the second time in the first half that the Pirates have jumped off sides. That'll be another 5 yards. Penalty is about the only thing hurting the Pirates. They've played great on both sides of the ball. Just those silly mistakes to shake their head about. And now Brown up the middle. And after the contact, still going. He gets a good 10 yards on that play. It was only 1st and 5, so he got enough for the first down anyway. But after that contact, we see him getting through the middle there. And then we see one missed tackle. He goes out to the left side. And Rudy Peel tried to wrap up on him, but he gets around him too. Big play by Brown there. And that's going to help the Orioles, is now there at midfield with 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Trying to cut the deficit before halftime. Romero looking downfield, but as good of a pass as it was, it looked like Howard just turned around just a little too late and couldn't quite get in position to make the catch. I mean, it looks like he got there, just went through his hands. Maybe if he had that extra split second, because I was watching him after the throw, knowing it was going to him, and he hadn't turned around yet. That might have been part of the struggle to catch the ball. So we've got 2nd and 10 here. Romero, the handoff to Brown. Brown up the middle again, a big gain. He'll get 10, 15, and actually about 13 or 14 yards. Brown, another big carry, 3 minutes, 20 seconds. And we see there, Brown just pushing through the middle. It's taking these guys 2 or 3 attempts to take him down to the ground. He's quick, but he's also got that size, and he really knows how to get that leverage and momentum on that defense. We'll see him again up the middle. This time he's tangled up there. As that was 57 on defense for the Pirates. Getting through, and although he was taken down to the ground, it kind of looked like Brown got tied up on that one. Got stuck there, and then a couple other players came in, make sure he didn't get anywhere. So now the clock is ticking down, 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. 2nd and 10 on the 38-yard line. Big handoff going downfield. Romero, and that's Hooker with a big pick, and he's going to take it back. He's got some of the biggest speed on this team, and that might help him go all the way for a touchdown. Amani Hooker, big pick, as it looked like the intended receiver there again was Howard. Howard was the one who had the ball just go through his hands a minute ago. And we see Romero there just over the head of Howard. Looked like a pretty good pass there. If it was just a little bit lower, that would have been a huge catch. And Orioles would have had it near the red zone with a couple minutes to go, but see Hooker there with the speed. No one can catch him even when he's behind everybody. That we saw the same thing with Tyshawn and Brooks earlier, and then Hooker with that running touchdown on offense. As we mentioned, he's the star on both sides of the field, and he's even holding the extra points, and that's Shang Li, 5 for 5 on the extra points there. We'll see that one more time here. Hooker, you know, that wasn't even that bad of a pass. You know, Howard got up there. I think Hooker just did a good job getting his hands extended out there and beating Howard to the ball. The pass was a touch high, but definitely catchable for Howard, but a good aggressive play by Hooker, not only to get in and get that ball, but to take it all the way back. It's about another 75 yards. Just over 2 minutes to go here in the first half. This one looks like it could be turning into a blowout early. The positive is that the Orioles, as I've mentioned, are averaging 9 points allowed in the second half, so they could still come back, but it'd be really nice for them if they could get on the board here in the last 2 minutes, make the deficit a little smaller. We'll see, though, and this will be Shang Li kicking it off once again. Back to return, Smith and Bangura. And it's fumbled on the short kick and recovery. Recovered by the Pirates. That's deflating. 2 minutes to go, and the Pirates with the ball again. And we will see that replay here. Not a long kick, about to the 30, and that's a good play for the Pirates. Coverage just swarming in there, causing the fumble, and now they're going to have the ball. Well, it looks like they're going to kick again. Penalty, yeah, I mean, offsides, false start on the kickoff there. Guy got going a little before the kicker. So a huge break for the Orioles on that one. They're going to have a chance here to get some points on the board before halftime if they can recover this kick, come up with it. See Shang Li again. Return men back at about the 15-yard line. We've seen Shang Li kick it all the way down to the 5 before it hit the ground, but this one's going to be a short one like his last few kicks. It is picked up, and taking it through is Austin Nelson, about to the 46-yard line. Just over 2 to go in the first. Time has been moving fairly slowly here the last couple minutes. We've seen few scores by the Pirates in the last couple minutes here. The last one was an interception by Hooker, taken all the way back on what didn't seem like a bad pass. Hooker did a good job being aggressive, getting up there and coming down with the ball. Fortunately for the Orioles, there was a penalty on that kickoff that the Pirates recovered. So the Orioles will have another chance here to score and cut the deficit down to 21 before half, potentially. And a big pass downfield is Smith Romero with great vision. No time off the clock, just a few seconds. And an early in the drive touchdown on that first play. Romero seeing Kevin Smith. He's been huge for them in the first half here. Romero not taking too long. Went back a step and then took a couple shuffle steps up. Smith wide open and just had the speed and space to beat the Pirates defense. That could be a big play, folks. Especially if the Orioles can get a defensive stop here, possibly get the ball back before halftime. They'll be happier going into the half down 3 scores rather than what could have been 5 if the Pirates hadn't had that penalty on the kickoff. They would have recovered it and had the ball at the 35-ish yard line going in. 35-13 on the missed extra point. And we'll see. I don't know if we see something short here for St. Louis Park, although what we saw in the first kickoff at the very beginning of the game was probably a 20-25 yard pooch kick. Well, it was, lobbed up and it came down right when I believe it was Bangora was getting there, and he made the play and recovered it. That was huge, as until just a few seconds ago, that was their only score, was a few plays after Bangora's kick recovery. Brown taking it in, got a good 30-ish yards of rushing. Since then, not much going on offense for the Orioles at all there. That was a big, huge pass play. Romero seeing Smith down the middle. That'll give them some momentum. Pirates here will be looking to answer, though, on a big, strong kick rolling back into the end zone for a touchback. Under 2 to go, so the Pirates will start from deep back in their territory. Not great field position. See if they just run the clock down or if they try to get downfield for another score before halftime. Adjustments at halftime for St. Louis Park, though. They need to, and they are putting extra coverage, it seems like, on Booker at least. They've been playing fairly well. Booker just beating them. We need to figure that out. And also, Malcolm Richards doing a great job making plays after catch, after contact as well from the backfield. And a bomb downfield just a few yards ahead of, I believe that is Richards. That was Hooker with the pass. No, that wasn't Richards, excuse me. That was 22, whose name we've called a few times early in this game, Kyle Schnobrick. He had a big catch earlier. And yeah, so it looks like the Pirates are gonna try to generate a score still under 2 minutes here in the first half, rather than just running it down and taking the 22-point lead into halftime. And they're still gonna go downfield with it. They have 5 men running down, and it will be Hooker that ends up taking it, getting about to the 30 and then out of bounds. That will be a first down. Chains will move, 1:40 left. The last 30-40 seconds of this game feel like it's taken 10 minutes. A lot of action happening there. And as we saw, the Pirates lining up with 4 receivers on the last play, which they're going to do again here. Looks like they're going to be aggressive with this one with just under a minute and a half now. They will hand it off, though. Richards to the right side, taken down after a gain of about 9. Don't think he got the first down. Oh, they're going to give it to him. He got 10. So first down, the clock will stop as they move the chains. Pirates are going to be right back up there to start when the clock is going. And looks like they will. Hooker gets the snap, only a few seconds off the clock there. And he gets it to Brooks, and Brooks gets out of bounds. A catch there, gain of about 5 or 6. We see there, quick outs. Hooker knew what he was doing, just took a second there not to telegraph the play, but Brooks, even with a guy right on him and another guy shortly behind, doing a good job making the catch and getting out of bounds to stop, or to, well, on the first down there was what stopped the clock, but got out of bounds, and now we see Hooker here running downfield for 13, 14 yards. And that will be a holding call, sending them back, but I was going to say the clock will be stopped again with a first down, and them inside their offensive territory. They're getting 35 yards away from the end zone. Big opportunity to score for them, but that holding is going to take them way back. And that'll be second and very, very long now. About 21 yards to go for the first down. Two receivers out to the left, one to the right. And he sees Brooks, excuse me, out there. Hooker to Brooks. Gets out of bounds, but only gaining a few there. Third and long now. About 14 to go. Surprised they didn't just run this one out, but the way their offense is playing, you know, they had a very good shot at scoring. It's just that penalty there that really hurt them, sent them way back, and now third and long, 13 to be more precise. We'll see if they can do anything with it. Hooker down the middle and off of the hands of the receiver there. 22, Kyle Schnobrecht, who's had a few good catches in this one. Just couldn't come in with it there. 4th and 13, and being that the Pirates are in their own territory, it looks like they should probably punt it away here. They will, and back to return. The dynamic duo, two of the quickest guys on this side, Smith and Bangora. So down it looks like Bangora will come up with it. Smith almost had it too. That could have been a miscommunication, but a good return by Bangora might actually help this team quite a bit as they get to their side of the 50. They'll start from about the 46 with this possession. We see Smith and Bangora looked like they were both going for it. Bangora must have called for it at the last second. Could have been a disaster there, but good communication at the end there for Bangora to get it, and he got a nice little return there. What's really important, though, is how these guys do right here, trying to cut it to a 2-score deficit before halftime. Romero fake to Brown, and as he looks like he's about to scramble, is taken down. Whistle's blown before he goes to the ground, but good job getting in there by the Pirates defense. And clock still running as we might see a couple more plays for a half, but 15 seconds to go and counting. This could be the last play the way the Orioles are taking their time here. 5 seconds to go. And Romero should send it deep downfield. A lot of pressure. Again, he's taken down, and they're going to take it into halftime on that. Could have been a lot worse. If the Pirates would have gotten that kickoff recovery that was called back on the penalty, that is potentially a 5-score game to the 3-score game that we have here. We'll be back in a little bit for the homecoming coronation. I'll let you guys listen to that. I won't be interrupting that one, but nice little thing that they have going here on homecoming and senior night for the Orioles. 35-13, not too much going. Only one really good drive for the Orioles as they went about 40 yards downfield, mostly rushing. And then one big pass play from Romero to Smith. That about sums up the offense for the Orioles in this first half. They're still in this one. Just a few big plays by the Pirates are really separating the two teams right now, but they're going to need to change up a lot, the Orioles, if they're going to want to stay in this one and get back into this game in the second half. That's all I have for this first half. We'll be back in a little bit for the coronation. And they're coming out right now. We're going to stick with you for a moment. I do not have stats on these guys, so I'm just going to let you listen into that, tell you what I can if I hear anything that you don't in the audience. But a couple players out there that I see. I do see Stafford, who is concussed and out in this game. It's one of the nominees. We've got about 15 minutes of halftime here. Cook. See there waving. Marco Salazar on the left side. Bridget Duffy. And Trent Stafford, he's concussed and out right now, but star for this St. Louis Park team. Bad loss for them on the homecoming court. Basil, I believe we covered her in a lacrosse game in the spring this year. Now the king and queen. Congrats, Eric Hendricks, on the homecoming king. Dance tomorrow. So we block. And they will honor her very well. Bowing down. And that'll be about it for the homecoming coronation there. 35-13. Park Center leading this one. St. Louis Park, I still feel like, and if you've been watching the whole game, it feels like they're still in this one and they have a fighting chance to get back in. They need to make some defensive adjustments though. We'll go to halftime break for now. I'll see you back in a few minutes. Thanks for joining us for the first half. See you in the second. 35-13, Park Center Pirates.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Welcome back to St. Louis Park High School for the second half of this one, the homecoming and senior night, last home game of the season for the Orioles. They are trailing just a bit, 35-13 is the score. The Park Center Pirates with the big lead, but the Orioles looking to turn it around here as they are returning the kickoff. They kicked off in the first half, and that was one of the biggest plays of the game, was the kickoff. A 30-yard lob kick recovered by St. Louis Park. It was Bangura who recovered it. They ended up taking it 40 more yards to the end zone for the touchdown. And it was 7-0 Park early. Looked like it could be a pretty close game throughout the first half. Didn't end up being that way so much. Orioles aren't playing too terribly. It's just Tyshawn and Brooks and Amani Hooker are a deadly combination. And in the backfield, Malcolm Richards is another big player. And now the Orioles are returning it. That's Smith. And after having trouble early near the goal line, he takes it out to the 28-yard line. But as I was saying, a few big plays for the Pirates. Besides that, the Orioles wouldn't be in too bad of shape. And we'll see Romero come out, and I believe he'll still have Brown in the backfield here, so we could have something there as we see on the replay there. Smith, a great recovery from the struggle initially to field the ball, making a little play out of it. We've seen Smith do that And Smith had the big reception touchdown right before halftime that made this a 3-score game rather than a 4. And Romero taking it up the middle to start. 4.5, 5-yard gain. Not a bad first play. Romero, the dangerous junior quarterback, still got another year. Not the season that they've hoped for so far, but with the weapons that they have returning, they got Brown coming back next year as well as Romero. Ty Benny, Kai McKee, Austin Nelson. Things looking up for them, and they still have time to come back in this one. A low snap, but Romero picks it up and is trying to make something of it, sends it downfield to Smith. Smith getting away from the coverage just for a second, comes down with it, but out of bounds. It looked like he got a little separation there right before the ball came in. We'll see again on the replay. Low snap there. Good recovery by Romero just to track it and come up with it. Scrambles outside. Good throw by him as he jumps in the air and throws it. A little Aaron Rodgers type throw there. And Smith, a great catch. He is tightly covered. Gets it, gets under it, but I think he had a foot out of bounds as he was coming down. So a close one there. Looked like could have been a good play, but 3rd and 5 now. On the incomplete pass. Romero to the left, he's not going to get out of that one, and he fumbles it but is already pushed out of bounds. So 4th and 10 will be what we're faced with here. Romero is back there for the punts as he's been today, and that gives them the opportunity for a fake. I don't know if this early in the second half, even down by 3 scores, they go for it, especially from 10 yards, 11 yards back. So we'll probably see a punt here by Romero. But we got to be mindful of that as we get later into this game if they can keep it fairly close. And a good punt by Romero goes out, or almost out at about the 30. It is recovered by Brooks. He gets about 5 yards. There's a flag down on the play, however. We'll see what that is, but decent punt for Romero there. Barring the flag, Pirates would be starting about the 35-yard line. Be a holding on the Pirates, so they will go back. So not a bad punt play after all for the Orioles. See exactly where it's spotted in just a second. They're going to need a defensive stop here. They're going to need to contain Tyshawn and Brooks. They're going to need to keep Hooker back in the pocket. And Malcolm Richards, the dangerous running back, is going to have to get stopped at the line here if they're going to want to get back in this one. It's tough to do that. All 3 of those stars spread out around the field. But to start this, the 2 receivers to the left side, it's going to be Brooks as well as Schnobrick. And it's a run play for about 18 yards. And we have flag down and a player down for St. Louis Park. Looks like he's okay, just taking a minute down there, getting up slowly, but a big run there for Monty Hooker. We were looking possibly for a long pass play, but he made it a 17, maybe even longer, 20-yard run. And it looks like that is Bangura that was hurt, shaken up. Now he's standing up, but trainer up to the side of him, and he's just walking it off. And they're going to help him off the field. We'll try to see here what happened. We saw the good run by Hooker there. Oh, and it looks like there was a big block. It was hard to see on the camera angle. Great camera work there, but just from where we were, it's hard to tell who got the block, but Bangura, yeah, definitely took a hard hit to the ground there. Shaken up, doesn't look to be too badly hurt. And 1st and 10 now. the handoff, and that is Malcolm Richards, the dangerous running back, taking it all the way to the house. Touchdown, Pirates, 41-13. Extra point pending. And just like that, they'll get back on the board and continue the blowout. Looked for a few minutes here, like the Orioles couldn't get back into this one, couldn't get much going on offense, and a couple big plays there for the Pirates. Called back by penalties, ended up giving it to Richards, taking it all the way to the house from about 75 yards out. We've had a few of those 75-yard plays, a couple of rushes, a pass. They like those long, big plays. And they've been good at that this game, the Pirates. Not too much inching down the field like the Orioles are good at doing with their run game. Just living off of those big plays here. And now it is a 4-score game here early in the second half. It's a flag. The extra point will be moved back. Shouldn't be a problem, though, for Shang Li. And Hooker the hold, sent up down the middle and good. Shang Li is 6 for 6 on extra points today. (42-13), 10 minutes, 20 seconds in the third quarter. Not much went right on that defensive drive. Again, the only thing holding the Pirates back was making a few mistakes, causing a few penalties, but they'll end up getting that big play that they've been getting.
What is happening, man?
And Shang Li will come out to kick the ball off. Again, as it's been all game and all season, Bangura and Smith back to return. Although we do want to keep an eye on that, the second and third lines, the middle two lines on the return team, as we've seen a couple lob type kicks by Shang Li, although he does have the capability of kicking it back for a touchback. And that one is a dart back, and Smith having trouble handling that one. He wasn't expecting to go that far back. He does recover it, however, and another good play by him on a return. He fumbles, but it looked like he hit the ground a good second before he lost the ball. We'll see on the replay for sure, but that looks like that's what the refs are indicating as well. And we see Smith there. He had to go back because that was more of a dart kick than the lobs that Lee has been kicking the last few. And Smith, yeah, he hit the ground and then the ball popped out, so they're not going to have to worry about that one. Not that it's a reviewable play in high school anyway. But just to confirm that they got the right call, they did. And St. Louis Park will try to get something going here. And up to Brown, he'll get back to the line of scrimmage plus about a yard. Brown, who was just taking care of it in the first drive of the game, not much since then. Part of it, I think, has to do with the energy and the will of this St. Louis Park line. The defensive line of the Pirates, you can't take that away from them. They've been playing very well since the first drive. But doesn't seem like they're playing with the same energy, St. Louis Park, anymore. You see a screen play out there. Romero is sending it out, and that was a Ty Benny. See, they're taken down immediately. Nine minutes and counting to go in the third quarter. 3rd and 12 here for St. Louis Park. 3 receivers out to the left, 2 to the right, empty backfield. Romero, and immediately coming in is a couple Pirate defenders, and Romero does get it off, and he gets it to Benny, but he'll be about a yard short of the first down. Obviously, this is a situation where they're going to go for it, I would think. We'll see what they do. They run most all of their plays from the shotgun. This would be a good play to go under center and go up the middle, but that's not their offense, and they know what they're doing out there. Romero, a good quarterback, making these plays. He can run or pass the ball, so we'll see what he does here. He sneaks up front, and maybe he will just take it up, and it looks like he'll get just enough. And a first down for the Orioles there. And we saw him do that in the first half. They didn't actually take the snap from under center, but Romero came up on a short play for the first down. Didn't end up going. He ended up running back, and then I can't remember if they actually got the first down or not, but part of that, the Pirates weren't really expecting that. We saw a couple of guys, the linebackers shifting and maybe the line shifting in a little bit. But good play there for them to get the first down, and back to Brown again, and the line, again, not getting much of a push, only getting Brown about a yard past the line of scrimmage on that play. 2nd and 8.5 or 9. And another screen play. Benny again swallowed up before he can get any positive yards. And that Pirates defense is just doing a tremendous job. They've been doing this all game. And it looks like a missed block there. I think that was number 14, Austin Nelson, on the right side. Couldn't get the block, and that was part of it. There were a couple guys coming in, but one of those blocks could have been key for Benny to at least get some space to start to go downfield. And now Benny lined up wide left on the bottom of our screen there. See Brown going in motion. And a pass over Brown's just off the tip of his fingers. And Romero now, there is a flag down, and it is on the defense. We see on the replay here, but we see Romero, good snap there. Got a quick pass, just a little high. Couldn't come down with it. And yeah, 15-yard penalty on that one for a hit to the head. Didn't see that on the replay, obviously. It wasn't where the action was, but big one for them. 1st and 10. 40-yard line going in. So potential scoring opportunity for them here if they can keep the drive going a little longer, but it's going to take a lot to get back in this one. 42-13, 6 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. And taking it to the outside is Howard. Howard knocked out of bounds after a gain of about 4. So that'll be 2nd and 6. The 36-yard line, 37-yard line. Center again, 2 to the left. We see motion though. That's Howard. Fake hand up to him on the. Oh, the bomb downfield. Romero sends it down, and Benny just can't quite track it down in time. That was a potential touchdown there, as the pass looked good, and Benny had a step or two on the coverage, but couldn't find it. Couldn't turn around in time and see the ball in the air. It's tough to do at night with the lights. And that's a big play, potential big play for the Orioles that the Pirates are lucky not to have given up, because their coverage looked beat on that one. 3rd and 7 on the 37. Romero dropping back, sends it out to the right side. That's Brown, just a little high again for Romero, and Brown can't handle it. Obviously, the Orioles should be going for it here. Romero stepping over to the sideline to get the play call. Having a word with the coach. Now you see Smith coming into the huddle there. But Romero, as far as quarterbacking has gone, hasn't had a terrible season. As we see an interception there. Oh no, they're going to call it an incomplete pass. Just as I was about to talk about Romero and his interceptions, we almost see one there on 4th down. So that'll be a turnover, of course. Romero just another high pass, a lot of pressure been on this guy today. He's done a lot of scrambling. And I don't know how that wasn't an interception. It was. All right. Little confusion down there on the ref's part, but no, they're not. It wasn't an interception, so it looked like it on the replay, though. Again, it probably doesn't make a huge difference. It's a few yards difference for the Pirates. They don't really mind. And a pass there complete. That's going to put extra yards on the stats here for Amani Hooker, as he sees McClure, I believe, way downfield. It was short pass, but then McClure gets way downfield to about the 13-yard line. McClure there catching it. He starts to handle it at about 50 and then gets another 35 yards down there. Even the big men getting those big runs after the catch for this Pirates team now. They're getting some good blocks, and the key thing for Hooker that Romero hasn't had in this game is the time to throw the pass. And now a handoff up the middle now. That's number 7, Tamel Quinn. They'll get a few yards on that, 4 or 5. But this Pirates O-line has really done a good job giving Hooker the time, even just on the screenplays that they've been running, that second and a half that they're blocking. It's been very good, and then they've done a good job, everyone downfield getting blocks to help them get those big runs. We had a few 75-yard touchdown plays. Another handoff, it's Quinn again. Quinn breaking one tackle, can't get loose of the second one though. That's 23 Somaya on the tackle. Play here, Hooker just handing it off to Quinn. They're gonna be comfortable running the ball now. Somaya doing a good job wrapping up, and despite Quinn's effort there, couldn't get any more yards after the contact, so it will be 3rd and about 2. Doesn't look like anyone's quite leaving yet. Still believe they have a chance in this one. The St. Louis Park fans and students having a fun night here on homecoming despite the blowout so far. Hooker scrambling out to the left side. Tackle missed, so he's going to have a chance. Throws the ball. It is complete in the end zone. Touchdown. And that is Snowbrick, who's been targeted in the middle for Hooker all day, but hasn't gotten a great amount of catches. Now he gets one where it really counts in the end zone. Hooker out there looking like he was struggling right away to find anything. And then we saw a tackle attempt missed. And then Snowbrick right in the middle catches it on the ground in the end zone. Touchdown. 48-49 would be the total here for them with the extra point. Yes, it's good. So 49-13 now. Park Center. 36-point deficit for the Orioles here. 4 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. It's those big plays all game that have been getting them the momentum in the drive. They haven't been playing awfully well every single play. The line is doing well. Park Center's made a few mistakes, but that big play there to the tight end, Elijah McClure, where he got an extra 30, 35 yards after the catch, something you don't see a ton in tight ends because it wasn't him breaking tackles, it was just his speed getting downfield. He had the open field in front of him. Blown coverage there, and big play for them though. So they end up getting the touchdown after a few runs by Quinn and then a pass down the middle to Schnobrick. 49-13 is the score as we're setting up for another kickoff. Shang Li, the junior, be kicking this one away. And again, Bangura and Smith back to return. Park now having a guy in between the second and third lines because of the lob kicks. And again, Smith and Bangura coming right up next to each other. This time Smith comes up with it, and Smith doing a great job this game returning, and another big return there as he'll get about to the 43-yard line. So far, though, on those big returns by Smith, and he's had a few of them on punts and kickoffs, they haven't been able to really capitalize on that. Getting decent field position to start the drive. You see here Smith just trucking up the middle. He's quick and he can break the tackles. So they'll have good field position starting it at the 43-yard line in their own territory. Romero behind center in the gun. Two receivers right, two left. He'll hand it off to Brown. Brown up the middle, a big run. Could be even bigger, but he's taken down about 12 yards, maybe 13 past the line of scrimmage. So a big gain for Brown. Kind of similar to what we were seeing in the first quarter for the Orioles. Line getting a good jump on that one, creating space for Brown to get through. Now we'll see the same formation, two right, two left. Brown to the left of Romero this time, and he'll get a couple. That's it, though. Under the 42-yard line. Clock continuing to wind down, 3.5 left in the third quarter. 49-13. Now Romero taking it himself up the middle. Now a flag at the end of the play. See what they call. It was late. It was after the whistle was blown, or as the whistle was blown. Didn't see the signal though. I don't know. Facing the other way. There's a face mask. All right. And it looks like the Park Center coach down there is livid on the sideline. Didn't agree with that. I don't know why it's a huge deal at this point to him, but coaching can get intense. We see the pink out in the small student section for the Park Center students on the other side of the field as we have a pass from Romero to Benny. Benny is leveled. He'll get up just fine, but that's Hooker, the star on both sides of the field, continues to make an impact there. A good play, though, by St. Louis Park, getting about 5 yards on the play. But a big hit there, as you saw in that replay, by Hooker. That's the thing with him, when you got the size and the speed like that, he's tough and he's a senior. See motion behind Romero. He's going to look to pass up the middle to Brown, but it's picked off by Hooker. Again, Hooker with the big play, this time an interception. And he just took that right out of the air. That's Hooker, and he has, I believe, 8 interceptions now on the season. Just ridiculous numbers for this guy on both sides of the ball. Quarterbacking this season, he has 10 or 11 now, maybe 12 touchdowns. He only has 2 picks, 530 passing yards coming into the game. And
about 65 to 70% completion percentage. Ridiculous numbers for Hooker. He also has 200 receiving yards from when he was playing receiver earlier in the season and 3 touchdowns here. As we see play go for about 5 or 6 there, but wow, Hooker, definitely an impact player on this team this season. 43 tackles coming into the game. Now he has 8 interceptions, and 3 of those he's returned for touchdowns. They're going to miss him on this offense and defense next year. Their handoff up the middle. He'll get the first down, and we see a little shoving on the near side of the field there. Nothing coming of it, but we'll watch for that here as it's still the third quarter, and clearly both sides are getting a little frustrated. This has been a long game for both teams. Under center is Hooker. Pitched out to the left side, and it is fumbled. I think they got back on it. That was a close one, though. Second and 15 now. Just a minute to go here in the third. 49-13 Pirates. Homecoming crowd still all out here. Faithful though. Hooker out to the left. He finds Brooks, I believe. And Brooks is number 81. Brooks going off the field for a play. It will be third down, 3rd and 5. This will be one of the last plays of the third quarter as we're under 30 seconds left. And it's a timeout by the Pirates, I believe. So if the Orioles can get the ball back here, they've got quite the deficit in front of them, 36 points down. Soon we'll see Romero back in there, but you never know. It's just a matter of finishing the game and padding the stats for the Pirates and recovering some for the Orioles here. Both of these teams with another game finish out the season. Then it's playoff time. But regardless of how St. Louis Park does next game, last season they finished 5-5. They will not match that. They're 1-5 right now, looking to go 1-6. And it's a reverse. It's Hooker, and he hits Brooks, and Brooks knows where to go. He'll get to the 50. So that's a 15-yard gain and another first down for the Pirates. As we see here, good play. 2 backs next on either side of Hooker, and Hooker just flips it back to Brooks as he came around behind him. Brooks easily with 15 yards there. No one on that side. A good reverse play. Faked out most of the defense. 1st and 10, and we're going to end the third quarter on that note. We're going to take a short break, come right back to you for the end of this homecoming game, the last home game of the season in senior night. 49-13 is the score right now. Park Center with the lead. I'm Ethan Lee. You're watching Park TV 16, and we will see you in just a moment.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
And we're right back with you for the start of this fourth quarter in just a second here. Both of these teams are going to want to get this one done as quickly as possible. 49-13, it's a 36-point game. Park Center really jumped out to a lead in the second quarter, a big one, and they've scored twice since then. They have the ball here. It is 1st and 10 on the 49-yard line. They'll quickly get to their side of the field and down to the 40. That's a big run there for 10 yards. And looks like they'll be just short of the first down. So it will be second in literally inches, maybe centimeters here. And the Pirates now just throwing the backups in this game. Trying to get some experience for these younger guys, which is important. You see a huge contributor the last few years for this team, Hooker and Brooks, as well as Snowbricks, a senior, Quinn, who we've talked about, and McClure, the tight end, with that big catch and touch, or 35-yard run earlier. Those guys are all seniors, so they're going to lose them. Park Center is. But they got a good-looking team this year. They might be able to go a little bit into the playoffs, see if they can't do some damage. But for now, safest thing to do is get those backups in, get them some experience as they run down the clock here. This is going to be most likely the shortest quarter of the game. It feels like the second and third quarter took a long time. Handed up the middle. Taken down, no gain, maybe a loss of a yard. So now it should be 3rd and 5 or 6 for the Pirates. See if they don't just run it up the middle again. They have one receiver out to the right and one to the left. 2 in the backfield, it's a pitch out, and then he'll try to go back up the middle, but is taken down. Again, a loss of a yard and a half maybe. So it's going to be 4th and 6, 4th and 7. They just punt it away. They run the ball. They're kind of an awkward place to punt, as their Pirates are about the 38-yard line going in. So it looks like they will go for it. Out in the gun, 2 receivers out to the left, 2 to the right, and back to the quarterback's left. And looks like he's going to hand it off, but then just takes it up the middle, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. So there will be a turnover now, and the Orioles will get it back. Just 9 minutes to go, down 36. Not much they're going to be able to do, but maybe put a dent in this one. Get some stats. Get the experience. They are going to keep their starters out there. Looks like we got Smith on the right, Romero back at quarterback still, Brown in there. Looks like their whole starting lineup. And then on defense, we've got Brooks in and Hooker still. So Hooker, they took him out on offense at quarterback, which makes sense, but he's still going to be in there at defensive back. First play goes for a few yards. I don't know, kind of surprising that they still have Hooker in there after the game that he's had. Mid-4th quarter here, just about, but Get back to the line of scrimmage there is Brown. It'll be third down, 3rd and 6 or 7. We're going to see 3 receivers out to the left there and 1 to the right. The Smith to the right, and that's just a handoff up the middle to Brown. Gets about half a yard short of the first down there, so we got about 5 yards on the run. And I guess they're giving it to him where the ref on the side with the change was originally standing. He was standing at a spot that was about half a yard short of the first down, but the ref on our near side was the one who spots it, saying it was a first, so they'll get that one, and now it's a snap, and Romero's going to try to get right back up the middle, but is taken down immediately, probably lost half a yard. Six minutes to go here in this blowout on homecoming. 49-13 is the score. Two out to the left. To the right, we see a motion, and it's handed off. Romero gives it to Bangora, and Bangora gets to the 43-yard line. So they're going to be a yard or two short of the first down. Okay, there. Romero calls the motion, gets to Bangora. Bangora finds a slight hole up the middle there. And that looked like a good spot. They're about a yard short. See what they do here. 2 receivers in the slot on each side. Again, the motion by Bangora, but this time he hands it off to Brown. And I think Brown originally with forward progress got the first down. He's about a yard past the first down. That's where they say he is on the spot. So that will be a first down for the Orioles. 5 minutes to go. Clock still winding down. Little remains of the student section here. Otherwise, still a lot of the crowd staying for this one. See the pink out over there for the Park Center student section, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, obviously. As we see a pass there out to the left side, and taking it past the first down marker is Howard. Another good example of yards after contact and yards after catch. I think he got touched in there. Missed tackle. See, Howard was wide open, and they got over, but misjudged there, and then he got a little juke, got swiped, but then a couple guys were able to take him down past the first. First and 10 on the 30-yard line for the Orioles here. 4 minutes to go in this game. 2 receivers to the right are in motion, and it will just be handed off to Brown there. So we saw Howard on the motion, but keeping it simple there for the Orioles. And the clock continues to wind down. We're now under 4 minutes in this game. Both of these teams probably just want to go home after this one. Again, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. And fake handoff going downfield, almost picked off. But couldn't quite get it there. Romero was passing, I think that was Howard there, number 5, yes. Yep, and looked like he got a hand on it there, the D-back, but couldn't come down with it. We've seen a couple dropped interceptions by this Pirates team. Not that it's really affected them too much, but something they're going to be hearing about in practice, because coaches are always finding things to improve on even when they have a game like this. I remember when I was playing, it was always we could blow out a team by 50 points, but we still got yelled at the next day and had a lot of running to do for whatever the coach found was wrong with our play. And I believe that will happen for this team, but they definitely got to be proud of how they played today. Especially that offensive line for this team, giving Monty Hooker all kinds of time to throw the ball downfield and find his receivers. So they're going to be happy after this one. For now, though, just a lot of backups in the game. Trying to end this one. And it will be 3rd and 10 on the 30. Romero looking downfield, and he finds a receiver. That is number 12, Ty Benny, the 11th grader. Inside the 10-yard line now. And they might cut down this deficit a little bit. Not going to matter too much in terms of their record or the game, but it'd be nice to get some more points on the board. Back to take the snap. One receiver to the right, to the left. He throws through the middle, can't get the touchdown, but they will get a few yards on that play. See here on the replay, he sees Jemon Smith up the middle there, and now a throw to the right side, the back of the end zone, incomplete. Broken up there by the Pirates. See there, just off the hands. Looks like that actually could have been a big touchdown play. Third down, 5 to go on the 5-yard line. It is 3rd and goal. Hand off to Brown up the middle. He'll get through, and it's a touchdown for the Orioles. So at least putting a few points on the board, cutting down the deficit there, as that is Brown's, I believe, 2nd touchdown of the game. Yes, it is. He had that touchdown on the first drive after the recovered kick. And now he's got another one late in the game, 1:30 left. Extra point here would make it 49-20. And they're going to go for 2. Romero looking to the left side. He sees his receiver Howard, and Howard comes down with it. 49-21 is now the score. And looking forward for St. Louis Park, not very exciting for them as they have to go to De La Salle for the last game of the season next week. That is never easy. We saw Park Center go in there and win 35-7, but with this Oriole team, it's a totally different story. Might be more competitive than this game, but it's a tough opponent, especially to end the season on, to start right before the playoffs. Fun stadium to play at, though, especially at night. The skyline in the background there, it's beautiful. If you haven't been there, I'd recommend going out there next week to see that game. Not too far of a drive from here, obviously. And the away fan side provides you with a great view of the downtown skyline and the field, and it's just indescribable. It's one of the prettiest stadiums in the state. And an onside kick easily recovered. by the Pirates, and they're probably just going to run this one out. Minute 30 to go. And that game next week is 7 p.m. at De La Salle High School. The boys would love everyone's support for the last game of the season. Maybe get a little rally going in a playoff game or two. But for now, it's going to be a fullback run and not a simple dive as you would think. He sees a hole and goes for it, gets about 9. Minute to go in this game. A couple more snaps and that'll be about it. Huge deficit here. 28-point game. It was bigger. It was 36 a minute ago. Another handoff just up the middle. Gain of 3 and a first down for the Pirates. So the clock will stop as they move the chains. We should see 1 or 2 more plays here. We're under 50 seconds left. And still a lot of good fan support still left for this Orioles team as they're going to stay here to the end and give those seniors a big ovation. A lot of these seniors had good careers here despite them struggling this year. Last year, St. Louis Park had a decent 5-5 season. Romero still got another year for this team, so that's going to be it for him playing at this stadium this year. But another season to look forward to. A lot of young guys on this St. Louis Park roster. You got Kai McKee. He's only a sophomore, so he's got 2 more years. Ty Benny will be a senior. Ron Brown will be a senior. As we are approaching the 0-second mark, and that is the end of the game. And they'll line up for handshakes, and that'll be about it here. 49-21 the final score. But this St. Louis Park team does have a lot to look forward to next year, and they still got another game to play and then the playoffs. So you never know. Go out and support this team next week at De La Salle High School. Thanks for watching our broadcast tonight. Despite the score, it was fun doing this one live from St. Louis Park High School. I'm Ethan Lee. This is ParkTV 16. Thanks for joining us a lot, and I'm looking forward to bringing you another game soon. But for right now, the football season is over at home for us. That's going to be all. See y'all later. Ethan Lee, Park 16.